Right, 30th of November today. Ambient temperature supposedly 8 degrees C, if the weather people can be believed again. So what we're going to do, head out, get a cup of tea, we've had a lot of rain recently. The roads have started to dry out quite a bit, but they've got horrible greasy looking places. So I'm just going to see how the Spirit STs feel whilst on cool, greasy-ish roads. I suppose you could call it typical autumn riding conditions. Right, we pulled over because this fucking GoPro, when you say start recording, wasn't responding. Technology's great when it fucking works. Load of shit over there for on the way back. We've probably done about 3 or 4 miles now, just come out of town. This road is pretty good for a mix of sweeping curves and some slower stuff. It's bone dry, which is not what I was hoping for. I mean, we just clipped the edge of that manhole going round there. Didn't faze the bike in the slightest. What I do find with these Avon Spirit STs is that, unlike the original Dunlops, which everybody knows manufacturers produce, or rather should I say are fitted at a cost price, right from the off, even when they're cold, they still feel planted, for a better description. The bike seems to just stay where you put it. Admittedly, I've not been pushing it, and I wouldn't do on a day like today, a cold day with no particular time to get the heat in the tyres. The first couple of corners we did on this main road, it just swept through them with no hint of wiggle or waddle. The original Dunlops, I always felt the need that I needed to do something with the suspension, and ended up messing around with damping. However, with these Spirit ST, the handling of the bike has been transformed. Got to watch out for leaf mulch, but hopefully most of it's been swept away. So there is a bit of dampness been dragged up from the water on that bridge. We're riding at a steady, sedate, what you probably almost call a commuting pace. Bike feels fine. I think one of the biggest issues with this time of year is where the leaves drop onto the road. They get ground up and deposited down the centre of where the cars would drive. So it's almost like approaching a bowl of sloppy cornflakes, for want of a better description. I like this town. It provides some inspiration for writing a bit of fiction, a good starting point. Maybe one day it'll all be revealed if I ever get around to finishing the book I've started to write. There's a parking spot. Thank you very much. I know what, let's be a good boy, take up too much space. Did that on purpose, don't you know? Sitting here tells me one thing for definite. I need that 35mm Ultron tooth by Voigtlander for the Leica. It'll be perfect. Right, there's the tea. There's a bacon and sausage roll. Crap in the road. Big fucking manhole cover all wet. Look at that for a pothole. Let's get back on the correct line. This is damp, looks greasy, feels good. He's sat on my arse. Big vigilance for shit on the roads from leaves. Yes, I've been cautious, but the bike feels stable, no twitches, no movement, going exactly where I want it to go. Very confident, inspiring. But what I'm also finding with these Spirit ST is the ride feels smoother. The original Dunlops, even when new, you could feel a certain amount of tracking from them on a variety of road surfaces, whereas the Avon Spirit ST, it's just smooths everything out. Obviously I'm not talking about noticeable ripples and physical bumps in the road, but all the various surfaces, it just gives a good overall smooth ride. It really has transformed the 900. I used to think the 900 was really nice, smooth, handled well, and putting these Avons on it, it's just given it like an extra 20% of everything. Now, somewhere around here there was shit down the middle of the road on one of these, wasn't there? Saw that on the way out. There she is. I ordered a pair of richer Nomad long winter boots. The RST Pathfinder I had, the adhesive around the sole started to come away after about a year. Really disappointed. So I've ordered these richer boots out in thin cotton socks. Feet are not cold. When it drops down a few more degrees, I'm sure common sense should take over and I'd have to consider getting some thermal socks. But I'm very impressed with them, they're very comfortable. They've got a panel at the back, and then which velcros for adjustment, so you can get your riding jeans tucked in. They're waterproof, warm. So again, very impressed with those. Comfortable to walk in. They've got the gear shift pads, plenty of feel through that. The soles, you can feel the back brake, you're not getting any loss through that as well. So the Avon's feeling good, approaching dual carriage on a slip road.